2-minute warning.
Good afternoon, Bleed Big Blue fans. This is Jimmy D, your trifecta, co-host of the Bleed Big Blue podcast show, coming to you live on a gloomy Tuesday afternoon. And I've been reading a lot about how everyone seems to think that Coach Tom Coughlan is going to be all over JPP. And I find that really funny when you look at the history between the two guys, right? So everybody is saying Coughlin's clearing cap, he wants JPP, and to me, it's very short-sighted. And what you need to do is look back over the course of history and see exactly what happened while Coughlin was coaching the Giants, right? So JPP gets drafted, and he's, in 2011, probably one of the greatest players we've ever seen. He had no clue what he was doing. He was an athletic freak. He was all over the place. He was a beast. He was making plays 20 yards down the field, okay? And he was probably one of the best defensive players in the league. And we were all salivating, and we were all saying, this is going to be great. This guy's going to be phenomenal. He doesn't even know what he's doing yet, and he's putting up these type of numbers defensively. And then we won the Super Bowl, and there was the "You Down with JPP" video, and Captain Complacent all of a sudden showed up in 2012, 13, 14. There was a reason why the Giants did not break the bank in Coughlin's last season coaching with that offer to JPP, because after 2011, they saw a lot of question marks. They saw a guy who was complacent. They saw a guy who was hurt a lot. They saw a guy who came in out of shape. And then the Giants offer him this nice amount of money and financial security, and JPP says, I don't want it. And in March, the Giants place the order, put the franchise tag on him, offer him a lucrative contract, and he does nothing. Meanwhile, Tom Coughlan is on his Giants' deathbed going into his last season with a team that you remember needed JPP, was depending on JPP. And JPP took his time, and March, April, May, June went by. And then on July 4th, with all this money on the table and Tom Coughlan waiting and calling and no communication and nothing, JPP blows himself up. So he misses the season. He comes back for the last couple of games with the club on his arm. Then he comes back next year and plays decent. So Coughlin, all of a sudden, back in the game in Jacksonville, is supposed to say, yeah, you know what? I got this young defensive team. I got all this talent here. Let me bring in Captain Complacent, who screwed me once before when he had decent money on the table because he was greedy and didn't want to accept that contract. So Coughlin's going to roll out the red carpet and give this guy $18+ million and maybe two first-round draft picks to the team that let him go, partially because JPP wasn't able to play at 100% that year? Come on, guys. Come on, this is not Madden. This is real life. And actions have consequences. And that 4-month span where that offer was on the table, I think Coughlin saw everything he needed to know about JPP. Never mind the seasons that got him the lowball offer from the Giants in the first place. So let's see what happens here. Let's not go crazy. Take a big, deep, big blue breath, because it's going to be a fun off season, but let's not make shit up. All this being said, watch this. The fucking guy will sign with Jacksonville. I love you guys. Bleed Big Blue. Always.